Sorry, I had to get clear my throat before speaking. Okay, well, yes, this is another video of mine, and I guess it's just more rambling because I want to make another video in the future, more structured video, but I suppose it'll take a while, unfortunately, so I'll just wait here. Wait and make rambling videos in the process. Also, from the one viewer I know that does watch these, she likes the rambling, so I'll keep rambling. Anyways, what I was thinking about was, I guess, my near-death experiences, if you could even call them that. I've had about four which I believe, yes, four which I've experienced consciously, one which I haven't experienced consciously. And I guess I'll just sort of list them on a timeline. Though for number 2 and 3, I don't know where they fit on the timeline, because I was so young, but oh well. Anyways, it starts at around age 2, and I was at a church, and I was at a church with my grandmother, probably other family like my mother and my father, and so I was on the stage of the church, and suddenly I jump from the stage. I don't know how big the drop was, but considering I was 2 years old, pretty much any drop would have been bad for me. So yeah, but I did manage to come out okay because my grandmother was there just in time to save me, and she got me in her arms. I think at the time she was like early 40s, late 30s. I know she was born 1966, so that would place her around, I believe, 44 years old. So yeah, she'd still be physically able to do that at the time, which was 2010. So following that, my second near-death experience was when I locked myself in the fridge. I was conscious of this one. This was when I lived at my mother and father's house. So I see the fridge, I'm intrigued by it. I go inside and I close the door on myself because I wanted to see, because I noticed when you open up the fridge you see that the light turns on, it flickers on, and that really got me curious. So I wanted to know what happens to the light when the fridge is closed. So I did the best thing I could at the time with my brain power. I formulated that I had to go inside of the fridge and close the door to see what it's like. I thought there would be no harm in such a thing. I didn't know I would be trapped. So I get in there and I close the door to myself. And I guess I feel the cold creeping in, and I was still able to see somewhat because I remember it looking a little greenish inside of there. It's very dim, and I can make out a little green. It looked green inside, even though I believe the fridge was white. But the low light made it look like that. So, seemingly I scream for help or something, and then my father, he comes over and he rescues me. He opens up the door, he gets me out. So that's where it ends. Then later, this is still when I'm in my mother and father's custody, I am in the drive-thru of Burger King, and they're getting their meal. And they get a meal for me, and they get me a drink. I don't exactly know what the drink was. It could be cola, it could be high C or something like that. It doesn't particularly matter. What does matter is that there were ice cubes inside of the drink. So I was enamored by the ice cubes. So I put one in my mouth, and I sort of swallow it. It's stuck in my throat. So my mother and father, pretty much choking to death, they managed to go and save me and get me to chuck it out. I was sort of in terror, maybe, I think. I didn't really know the implications. All I knew is that it was bad. So that continued until my mother and father saved me from that fate. And here lies the fourth, which I'd say was about 6 years later. 6 years pass, and I'd now be about 9 or 10 years old. And by now I'm in the custody of my grandparents, and my father and mother are pretty much out of the picture at this time of my life. So they aren't there to save me, and it's night. So my grandmother and grandfather aren't there to save me either. I'm inside of my room, and I was playing with magnetics, old magnetics, the ones with the balls and the sticks. I used to make lots of structures and things like that. And what I really like to make was, if any of you have seen Big Hero 6, I made the nanobots from Big Hero 6. Just over and over again, I'd play out scenarios of them doing things, turning into a big thing, just lots of stuff. It was really fun. And the grey metal balls that it came with, I put them in my mouth sometimes because they had a unique flavor and just a unique feeling. So I'd swirl them around in my mouth and do all that. I guess I was hygienic about it. I think I washed them, I did things like that. And one day while I was doing it, one night, in fact, it rolls down my throat. And I know it rolled down my throat. And thankfully, I guess, at an earlier amount, possibly months or weeks earlier, I was watching a Watch Mojo video, maybe not Watch Mojo, but definitely a top 10 video. And I think it was like banned toys, and magnetics was one of them. And it explained that some kid swallowed a magnetics ball and he had to get stomach surgery. So I knew that swallowing a magnetics ball would be really, really bad. So what I did was quite ingenious, and I was in a calm state of mind when I did it. So I did a sort of handstand, of course not fully. If I could best describe it, my position was quadrupedic. For the most part, though I just put more emphasis on my head so I could roll it out better. So I did that, and I was able to roll it out of my throat. And then I just put it away and thought about things, I guess, and that was it. Now for the fifth most recent near-death experience. This was when I was 10 or 11, and we were going, my family took me to this park, not really park, sort of, and there was a stream there, and there was a thing that sort of acted as a pool, but I couldn't go there, and I didn't have any swimming trunks, so I cut my jeans to make them into swimming trunks. The water was quite cold, but surprisingly adapted to it. So what I did was, I really liked the water, so I went straight swimming in the river stream. And at first it wasn't that bad, it was quite pleasant. And then I was with some girls, I guess teen girls, and I was 11 or something, but they were family friends, I guess. I didn't really know them, but I was with those girls and I followed them. They let me accompany them. So we kept on going further and further down the stream. Eventually they went back, but I remained, and I kept going further down the stream. Eventually I realized that it was getting deep. It was getting to be quite a deep stream. And then I noticed that it started turning into rapids, so I was being pushed to go deeper and deeper into the water, which would just drag me and potentially drown me. Now, at the time, I didn't really think of this possibility. All I knew is I didn't really want to keep on going down this stream. So what I did was I calmly managed to swim while it was still pushing me back. I swam right as I could, and then I went until I saw like the area where the ground was, and I guess I get my right arm out, and I grab onto something, I, and I managed to grab onto like some strong branch in the ground, and that kept me in place. And I didn't know that the branch was there. I just sort of did it instinctually, like it was meant to happen, like I was being guided. So I clutched onto that, and it was pretty easy to pull myself out past that point, and I walked back to where everyone else was, alive. And it took me years later to actually realize how much danger my life was in at that point, but I just didn't care. I was so calm, I didn't even really consider the possibility. I just had to do what needed to be done. So I got out of there. It was as if it would jeopardize some sort of mission for me to die. So I had to get out of there. It's like protocols just get initiated, like a sleeper agent, to get me out of there. And they worked. Nowadays, I think there's been a few other near-death experiences, but they're not particularly memorable, like nearly fucking up on my bike or something like that. Just not that memorable. And I guess that's where it goes. And I think I'll ramble a little bit more and then I'll end this recording. Maybe, but I was thinking about something I feel bad for doing. On my Discord server, I own a Discord server, to those listening if you want to know. Of course, I won't link it here on this channel, but on another channel I have, it's linked and it's based on that channel. So I have this group there, I guess sort of a friend group called the Inner Circle, and then the second in command guy. So what I told them one day, just out of like an experiment around Valentine's Day 2024, I came up with the lie that I had a girlfriend or something like that. Yeah, I came up with the lie that I had a girlfriend because there's this thing in that server. It's sort of an incel culture, even though I don't consider myself incel, where the true cell are hailed as kings and the fake cell are hailed as bad. So I was wondering what it would be like for the owner to be labeled a fake cell for the experiment. So I do that, and they're okay with it, I guess. And later, I make a Discord account for the girl, which didn't even exist, and I actually convinced them that it was her by just giving out by saying like, oh yeah, I'm from Edmond, I'm a girl, and things like that. And they actually believed it, which was surprising. I guess it was more sort of a thing to throw them off and tell them that it's fake, but they didn't they didn't get the hint. Of course, I don't really talk about this supposed girl to them at all. But sometimes they ask for pictures and stuff, and I just sort of avoid it. Like, I don't think she'd like me taking that, but I can't even take pictures of them. There was one time where I just took a screenshot of some Korean girl's eyes and said, I reveal, and that was it. Yeah, that's all I have. She isn't even real, but I guess it would be nice to have one. Of course, a good one. There's lots of women these days are bad. Well, time to the next rambling topic. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of more and more things about... oh yeah, I guess I'm not going to move on to the next topic yet, because I did feel bad for telling them about that. saying that I had one, because it would make me look like a liar to them if I told them I actually don't. So I just sort of keep it there because I feel obligated to. I don't want them to see me as bad or anything. But I do regret saying anything about it, because now they may just bother me about it, and they'd see me as possibly unreliable if I told them the truth about it. But I guess I'll just have to keep it there, which is unfortunate. Okay, now into the next topic, which I haven't really devised yet or thought about. Oh, I guess I could think about, I could talk about music. And in terms of music, I'm just trying to think about what to say about music. It's one of my big things that I do. Because I always listen to the likes in my SoundCloud, and I do it a lot. I go there at school and I just listen to music while in the hallways and while working, stuff like that. So it is pretty constant, and I guess the themes of the music I listen to is quite dark, but the sound and all of that, it's really good. It's a really good sound to me. It's not like as if it's like sounding desolate. Of course, the lyrics, I guess, they give off a desolate feeling. But I guess my life is sort of a desolate feeling in a sense, so that's fine. So I just listen to the music a lot, and I really do like the music that I listen to. It's obscure, but it's good because it prevents people from ruining it. Sometimes the best things are quite little known, because I guess too many chefs spoil the broth. So it's good that there aren't too many chefs. Though I've noticed recently the genre is starting to get a bit popular on TikTok, which may be bad. I had a channel around it and it got 800 subscribers. Currently now I just have a new version of the channel which has 300 subscribers. The first version managed to get 700 subscribers. Truly monumental for both, I guess. Because I finally got my dream of being a YouTuber, but yeah, it was something I was quite passionate about, but it wasn't the type of YouTuber I wanted to be. I wanted to be sort of like Albert Stuff, if you know who that is. Make Roblox videos similar to his. That somewhat turned out to be true, because I had a channel called Guest44, which was an early version of my channel, and the one that I turned into a re-uploading music thing. Before that I had that, and I eventually wiped it. I didn't exactly wipe it, I just pirated all the videos. But of course the channel got terminated, so now it's all gone. But I did make Roblox videos. However, when I was making them, my voice was quite pre-pubertic, so it didn't sound good to me, and they never really got popular. I did show them to some online friends at the time, but that's all that really came of it. Well, now I think the video is starting to get on there in terms of length, so I'm gonna end it now. Goodbye. This is Odd Synthesis signing out.